What up, folks? We are live. The show has started. I'd better hit start recording. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 2, thank you, of the Sean Ward Show News. That is what we've called this little experiment in live streaming and podcasting that we started last week. As I explained then, we wanted to have some kind of podcast live stream thing that we could do for y'all, some kind of discussion forum for all of the topics around our favorite movies and events and cultural things going on. And now here we are, popping in on Mondays to go live with a little something to talk to y'all about. So let me just give you off the top some of the topics we're going to be talking about this week, shall we? We're going to be talking about things like Elizabeth Olsen just put out a new video about WandaVision. How about those U.S. agent photos from the Falcon and Winter Soldier set? Maybe 5 unknown facts in the final battle of Avengers Endgame you might not have known about. Or what's that? Colin Treverrow's original version of Star Wars 9 script leaked? There's news about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We got some news about Captain Marvel 2. Christian Bale is joining the MCU. And the Obi-Wan show on Disney+. Some stuff has gone down there, so you don't want to miss any of this. And I don't want to miss hearing what you've got to say about all of this stuff. So why don't you get in the chat and let me know what you think about these topics as we go. The first and foremost thing that we've got to talk about relates to the channel right here. We just want to catch up on the channel news real quick. Is that we've got a new video. Well, our newest video is the Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, Peter versus Miles video. This video is blowing up the spot. This video is already over 600,000 views. It is looking unprecedented. That video is going to be at 1 million views, lickety split. So thanks to all of you for watching it. And if you haven't seen it yet, then of course you can wait till this live stream's over and go check it out. It's the newest video on the channel and it is killing it. The next video that we got coming up is going to be our Mandalorian epic parody movie. We had to take 8 episodes of the show, so roughly 8 or 9 hours of content, and squish it all down to like 10-15 minutes. But it's going to be powerful. We got Baby Yoda, we got the Mandalorian, we've even got Cara Dune, and we've got some new cast members debuting in this video. That's going to be coming live this weekend, so if you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed, but get ready for that. What's coming up after The Mandalorian, and we're shooting it in 2 days. On Wednesday this week, we're shooting our Birds of Prey trailer parody, and wait till you see who we've got in that. Wait till you see the costumes. Wait till you see the hilarity. I am looking so forward to that video. I have been so excited to do this video for months, and the timing is going to work out perfect to get that parody video online for you the same weekend that the movie comes out. Who is going to see Birds of Prey opening weekend? Let me know in the comments, in the chat, the live chat. Let's take a look at the live chat real quick right now, just to see who's in here talking. We got a lot of friends, old and new, hanging out like Dark Side Studios. Love the show and the channel. We got Tashi and Friends, who's been policing everybody's bad language in there and sticking up for us when everybody's being impatient, waiting for the live stream to start. We got some people arguing over who was second. These topics are lit, says Tash and Friends. Couldn't agree more. Krenguta Urasashe, I hope I said that right, says, for how is this show Batman and or Spider-Man? Well, I mean, those are some of the most popular characters that we use on the channel. John says, is it J-N-E-A? Not sure how to pronounce that, but he says, what do you think of Birds of Prey? Well, I like it so much that I'm excited to see it. And what happens is that we take everybody from the show, so people who are going to need to be in the parody video, plus people who have been in videos recently, plus a lot of friends and VIPs, and we roll up to all of the big superhero movies, about 30 deep. It's called the Sean Ward Show Movie Club, and you can actually go on the show's Instagram, and you can see photos of our trips to the movies from the past. Every time we go to the movies with 30-something people, we take a big group photo, put it on the show's Instagram, and the big dream is that one day we could actually come to your town and travel and go see these movies in new places with fans from all over the world. That would be awesome. He asks, what are your favorite Birds of Prey character? Harley Quinn, dude. Harley Quinn all day. The Night Gamers. Hey, Sean, love everyone. The Sean Ward Show. Well, love you back, dude. That's awesome. Okay, let's start discussing some topics, shall we? The first thing that I put down here that I wanted to talk about was Elizabeth Olsen put up a video talking about WandaVision. So that show is coming up on Disney Plus this year. We haven't seen anything from it yet, but I want to know, did you see Elizabeth Olsen's video? Elizabeth Olsen put up a video where she basically went through and talked about all these different comic books from the original Marvel Comics runs from all different series over the years. And it's as if she's just catching the viewer up on the history of Wanda and Vision's relationship in the comics, but you know that she's low-key dropping some knowledge about what that show's going to have in it. And that show sounds amazing. That might be one of the projects that I'm looking the most forward to from the MCU in the coming months. That one, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think, though, I might be more excited for those than I'm even about any of the movies that are coming out this year, to be honest, as far as the MCU goes. Not to undersell Black Widow, that movie looks great. But, oh my God, this stuff looks great. So Elizabeth Olsen, like I said, she went online, she put up a video, she kind of told the history of Wanda and Vision's relationship over the course of the comics, low-key dropping knowledge about the Disney Plus show coming soon. So if you saw the video, or even if you haven't, I'm looking at the chat, and I'm wanting to know, what are you thinking that show's going to have in it? What new revelations are going to come from that show? And most importantly, is this show, WandaVision on Disney Plus, going to be where they launch the whole idea of mutants? I'm wondering, because sometimes they'll take something from the comics and they'll, something that happened to one character, they'll give it to another character, or they'll put a twist on it so the good guy was really the bad guy or something like that, right? I'm wondering if they're going to take the whole thing about how in the comics Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were Magneto's kids, and maybe what this WandaVision show is going to do instead is make it that a whole bunch of mutants are Wanda's kids. That would be really, really interesting, because I can't help but think that there's going to be something where she uses her magic to build some kind of fantasy reality where her and Vision are just enjoying like some domestic splendor, you know what I mean? And so maybe part of that, some of the kids that she has in that fantasy will end up coming into the main MCU and be characters going forward. Who knows? So much exciting stuff happening with this, I can barely take it. Dobrila says, wait a sec, are you the guy from the Shazam video? Well, obviously, it is my YouTube channel. I usually play the villains in all of those movies. JNE says, what are you looking forward to seeing in a Pixar movie? Well, they can't do a Spider-Man movie because Sony does Spider-Man movies, so I'm not even sure what I would want to see from Pixar, because I'm too busy watching all these superhero movies. Let's see, where are you from exactly? We live up here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, but for right now, we're broadcasting to you live from high in the sky above Metropolis. So be very careful. Superman might fly through here at any moment and knock out our connection to the satellite. We don't think that's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen, but you never actually know. He's saying Iron Man died. I don't even think that counts as a spoiler alert anymore, because everybody's seen that movie. Joel says, you have an accent. Not to be rude. Well, what's rude? But where are you from exactly? Toronto, Ontario, Canada. There you go. Moving on to our next topic, make sure you leave in the live chat what you think about the WandaVision video that Elizabeth Olsen dropped. The next thing we're going to hit about, this is a smaller topic, but we've seen some U.S. agent photos leak. I don't think that they were officially released, but some photos of U.S. agent from the set of Falcon and Winter Soldier. That show already, I was excited for it without knowing anything. And now it looks like a big part of that video, that show rather, is going to be the government trying to take the whole Captain America mantle and try to say, well, Steve had no authority to give it to you, Falcon, so we're going to create our own Captain America and put him out there. He'll probably turn into a bad guy. That's probably what's going to happen, and it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see it. But let me know in the chat if you saw those photos from set and what you think of the U.S. agent costume. It's a little bit like the U.S. agent costume from the comics, but the black is blue in this one, and it definitely looks like some government agency is trying really hard to, do their own version of Captain America and try to tell Falcon, hey, it ain't gonna be you. Tyrone Owens, love all your videos. Well, guess what? They all love you back, man. That's right. I think Krenguta Ursache, I bait you. I think he meant to say something else there. But the message is still good. It's all love either way, as they say, right? No press is bad press. Okay, so Colin Treverrow's version of Star Wars 9, we've watched over the last week or so that the script has leaked, and all this concept art has come out. So a lot of stuff was going on where they tried to play it down. The people in charge tried to play it down and say that this concept art, yeah, it's going to be in the book, The Art of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, when that book comes out. I don't know about you. This is a little sidebar here. I don't know about you, but The Art of da-da-da-da, and those big movies, the big movies that come out have the art book that shows like all the concept art and the development art, storyboards, all that kind of stuff, and kind of gives you the story of the making of the movie. I love those books. I collect them. I don't buy every single one just willy-nilly, just the ones for the movies that I think are the best. Now, there's going to be a book coming out, The Art of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and apparently a whole bunch of the leaked concept art that we've seen is going to be in that book. So they tried to play it down and say, well, no, I mean, we come up with a lot of concepts. Not every concept makes it into the movie, right? But then we got the confirmation from Colin Treverrow that, yes, indeed, a lot of that concept art that is stuff you didn't see in the finished movie was concepts they were developing for his version of Star Wars 9. Now, we're friends, right? Between you and me, I gotta say, the Colin Trevorrow take on Star Wars 9 sounds like it might have been a little bit more exciting. To me, this is just my opinion. You know me, I'm a Star Wars fan till I die. I'm such a Star Wars fan that I started an event called Star Wars Day Toronto. So every May 4th, you can come to a big event, Star Wars Day Toronto. Back when I started it, May the 4th be with you was just an internet meme. And you called it Star Wars Day. You'd say, Happy Star Wars Day to your friend on May 4th. And they'd say, why is it Star Wars Day? And you'd say, because May the 4th be with you. And they'd laugh. And that's all there was, right? So me and a couple of friends had the idea, you know what, let's actually put on an event. In 2011, we did that first event. And now, Star Wars Day events happen all around the world. And if you go on the Star Wars Day Wikipedia page, it actually has it on there that the one in Toronto was the first one, and that's the one that we started. Very exciting stuff. And I'm only telling you that so you can see how big a Star Wars fan I am. And in fact, me and the family, we took 4 annual Disney World trips in a row, and the timing worked out that a new baby came into our family just when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was opening. So I haven't been to it yet, and it makes me crazy. Every time I see a photo of people at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and hear about people going on those rides, and I haven't been on them yet, it makes me insane. But that's beside the point. I'm only telling you this so you know how big a Star Wars fan I am. I'm not speaking as a hater. I'm not speaking as a representative of the fandom menace, right? But the whole business about bringing back the Emperor for Episode 9, and especially how they did it, that he's mentioned in the opening crawl in the very first scene of the movie, is Kylo Ren going looking for the Emperor. It just seemed to me like it was like they knew they were behind the 8 ball. They didn't think they had any way out of the trap that was set up for them by the previous movies. It's like, oh, let's just give the people stuff that they know. And yeah, I don't know. So the Colin Trevorrow concept for Star Wars 9, is it too late to get everybody back and just do that movie as a redo, and then people can just take their pick which one they like better? What's going to be interesting as they go forward is as they do these Star Wars movies, perhaps they don't need to conceive of them as these epic trilogies. Maybe they could just start making them like one at a time. And yeah, they can all tie together, but it could maybe be more like Marvel movies where they all kind of interlock in various ways. They're not necessarily a one after the other series. You know what I'm saying? Dobrila, Sean Ward, how old are you? Let's just say that on the one hand, I'm old enough to consume alcohol, but on the other hand, I still get carded fairly regularly. And that's not a joke, by the way. Let's see. If Real Black Sun says, Google it. I guess he's talking about my age. I'm timeless, I keep telling you. Real Black Sun, how did we end up talking about Star Wars? We're talking about Star Wars because this is big news, son. Colin Trevorrow's concept for Episode 9 leaked, and we had to talk about it. But let's talk about back onto the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's talk about, just real quick, let's touch on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Who out there is looking forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? And I'm only bringing it up because there's a rumor now that the WandaVision show is going to tie into this movie, and that like all this different stuff, that basically this Wanda does something with her magic. When she goes crazy and does whatever she's going to do in that show, that it rips open all these doorways to other places from the multiverse, and that just sets the stage for some absolute chaos that they have to like solve the problem in the Doctor Strange movie. That sounds very, very exciting. But we also heard that the director left the project over the old, that old Saw creative differences. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be really interesting to see how that movie ends up. A lot of times you hear about creative differences and the director leaves the project, but that usually, very often, means that the project, nothing's really happening with it. But in the case of Marvel, it's never been a problem. Remember when Ant-Man, when Edgar Wright was going to do an Ant-Man movie, and in the end of the day, he ended up not doing it? Ant-Man movie was dope. We all loved it. Wasn't a problem. There's something to say about like the Marvel way of doing things. You got no reason at all to not have faith that they know what they're doing and that that movie's going to be dope. And Kevin Feige. Here's the thing: you hear about it all the time. That like, film is usually a director-led medium, but in the case of Marvel movies, it's a producer-led medium. That show it's got a lot more in common with a TV series than it does with movies, because it's run by, so Kevin Feige, as the producer of all the Marvel movies, it's almost like he's the showrunner running this really long show. And instead of tuning in week by week to watch the new episode, we only get 2, 3, 4 episodes a year that you have to go pay $20 and sit in a big room with other fans to watch it. But hey, that's a lot of fun and we love doing it. Joel Nascimento says, I'm a massive fan of this channel. One of my favorite actors is Mackenzie. She played Spider-Gwen. She did play Spider-Gwen. That's true. Mackenzie has also played Harley Quinn. You know what? Let's give her some props right now. Mackenzie just got sent by Warner Brothers, okay, to Hollywood. Mackenzie just got back from a trip to Hollywood, LA, California, USA, because they took over, basically, if you've ever been to LA, you know what I'm talking about. The intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and Highland. At the intersection of Hollywood and Highland, that's where like the Oscars happens, right? When you think of Hollywood and the stars on the sidewalk and the Chinese theater and all that kind of stuff, that's in that neighborhood, Hollywood and Highland, okay? So they shut it down and turned it into Harleywood and Highland and had this big event for Birds of Prey. And damn it if Warner Brothers did not take Mackenzie to that event. They also took another girl who I don't know, but another friend of mine named Morgan Hoffman, who's actually a TV personality from up here in Canada. And Morgan, she was recording stories on her Instagram the whole time. She got full coverage of the event and the after party with the performances. Morgan even got to do a little boomerang with all 3 of the main stars of the movie. Oh my God, I was so jealous. But when Mackenzie was there, Mackenzie, she didn't put up as many stories as Morgan. So I have to just assume that she just had like so much fun and the event was so awesome that she just didn't even have time, because she didn't put up any stories of like the main stage event with the stars of the movie on it, just a couple of selfies at the event. And for the after party, we didn't really get a sense from Mackenzie's Instagram story of like what was going on at the after party. She only put up one little clip of the singer on the stage. So that tells me that that event was just like so chaotic and so fun and so over the top that I was just like so jealous that they didn't call me, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good because that movie is very like female centric, female focused, and so they're gonna save it up and take me when it's Batman time, right? Right, Warner Brothers? You're gonna take me when it's Batman time, right? Okay, let's take another quick look at the chat, the live chat. We got a lot of people chiming in with their 2 cents. And people are guessing my age. Awesome. Priyoga Black Panther, he says that I'm 24. Krenguta Urseshe is either guessing that I'm 10 or announcing that he's 10. Let's see. Plus Ultra 10 says, is Mackenzie and Viola, I'm sure you mean Violet, and the other guy still in the crew, or am I late? They are not in the crew. They are not in the crew. They have moved on. And it's been a sensation. As you know, as I've said a few times already, they basically, it's like Saturday Night Live, you know what I'm saying? Where they got so much success. I mean, what they got from the channel was so awesome that it got Mackenzie a trip to LA just because she played Harley Quinn on the channel so many times. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really proud of them and everything they were able to do, and even more proud of them all that they've got their own things going on, and they've gone off to go be even more famous. Mackenzie's going to do movies, Violet's doing her costuming, and Lee's doing his horror project, and they have got some huge stuff coming up. But here on the channel, it's actually been a bit, I'll be honest, a bit of a blessing in disguise. Because what it's meant is that when I'm looking around for like, how can we fill this giant gaping void that they've left? Right, so we got to bring some new people in, and so that's forced us to up our game. And so we've got some new performers coming in, and if you go on the show's Instagram, you can see we've been doing a little bit of a teaser about who's going to play Harley Quinn in our Birds of Prey parody. And we've got a lot of great guesses, but this girl is not from the cosplay world. I don't think anybody's going to guess it. I'll give you a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a spoiler alert, that this person who's going to be playing Harley Quinn coming onto the channel is a champion jiu-jitsu fighter, as well as an international model with campaigns on the go right now for a mobile company, as well as a entertainment complex, a chain of entertainment centers across the country. And we did some costume tests last week, and she is going to knock you all on your butts when you see it. We have some incredible stuff coming up with these people, and 2020 is literally going to be the year of the best videos we've ever done, and I cannot wait. All right, Shadow Storm. No one ever guesses what my age is. Well, people should start guessing. Tyrone Owens, Batman time, Batman time. See? So now we can say it's by popular demand. Get at Warner Brothers and tell them that in 2021, when the Batman is going on, they got to send me to LA to get full coverage and get whatever the event is that's going on this YouTube channel for you all to watch. Because I know you don't want to miss it, right? If they're going to turn LA into Gotham City, you'll want to see it on this YouTube channel, and I want to get it for you. Oh, man, that would be so fun. That would be absolutely incredible. Tashi and Friends says, I do karate. Well, maybe you start a YouTube channel and show us what you got. Let's see here. The next topic that I want to hit upon, this is just a brief one. Captain Marvel 2 has been confirmed. They announced that it's happening, and it's going to be incredible. So the big talk now is who's directing it. And the reason why I thought that was an interesting question is because it implies that the director from the first one is not coming back. So is there some drama behind the scenes? Did they just simply decide that it's time for a change? I don't know, but I'm excited for a change because my complaint with the first movie, for all the haterade that got poured on that movie, my complaint about it was just this one little thing. And that was that I watched that movie and I think to myself, this is not a comic book superhero fan that made this movie. This is somebody who cut their teeth on critically acclaimed indie dramas who got brought in to do this movie on the basis of like the politics of it or whatever. And maybe that person is well suited to, deal with it on the political stuff, but I didn't get the sense that they were really, really invested in it, on a personal level, that they've got a whole lifetime of being a fan of this stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes you hear about some behind-the-scenes stuff about how filmmakers sometimes feel a little bit hampered because the Marvel movies, the director is brought in to direct the actors on set, but they don't really have a lot to do with like the action, right? That there's this attitude of just, oh, forget about it, and the behind-the-scenes teams takes care of that in computers. And it had a little bit of a feeling of like relying on that too much. You know what I mean? For me, that movie didn't feel like it came together in the way that a movie does when you can tell that the people making it had their hearts in it and really just, fans of this stuff since back in the day. You know what I mean? Anybody would have taken the job of directing a movie like that because it's a sweet gig. But we really want to see like some hardcore fan people get in there, or at least people who can get themselves into the mindset of the hardcore fan. So hopefully that's what we're going to see from Captain Marvel 2, is somebody who's like got their heart invested in this world and in these characters since they were a kid, coming and taking that movie over. Christian Bale we heard about. Christian Bale has been announced as joining the cast of Thor 4. What's that, Love and Thunder? Is that what that was called? Yep. Yeah, Thor Love and Thunder. So Christian Bale has been announced as joining the cast, and a lot of the talk has been about that he is going to be Beta Ray Bill or some other like CGI character that he would just play the body of, and then they'd paint him up with the dots and do the motion capture thing. But then the most interesting theory that I've heard so far was that he's going to be Norman Osborn. Oh my God. Could you imagine Christian Bale in the MCU as Norman Osborn? Now, you don't like that? No. We got Trey behind the scenes saying he does not like that. Shout it out. Why you don't like that?
It doesn't make sense for like his character. Like I've seen like the kind of like stuff he played usually. Like I just don't. I guess like I would need to see who's playing like Harry Osborn. I would need to see who's playing the son, because then I would need to see the dynamic. But like if you look at Christian Bale like, as the actor,
yeah,
I really just honestly can't see Norman Osborn.
You ever watch American Psycho, dude?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't think he'd be awesome as Norman Osborn based on that? He's got the look. I can see the Green Goblin. I can see it, dude.
I guess it's because like it's the MCU is what I'm concerned about because they're not going to that dark part of it. Because if you look at
no, but here's what's exciting, man, is that like one of the complaints about the MCU up to now has been that like they've developed all the heroes and the villains are just sort of like not all that deep, right? Like Ronan, right? A lot of people complained that Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy was sort of just like, like a stock villain. But I feel like that's sort of the point, that there was so much work to be done to bring the fan base, not even the fan base, the general audience, right? The general movie-going audience. There was so much work to be done to bring that audience up to speed with this whole expansive Marvel thing from like the comics, that now that, Endgame has come out and it's the biggest thing ever, everybody's now caught up on a cultural level. So now they can actually start getting deep and start bringing out the good villains because they've set up the heroes. We know who the heroes are now. Now it's time to stand them up against some dope villains. So when I heard they were going to bring Norman Osborn into Thor 4, the first thing for me was just like, okay, but what's he got to do with Thor? But then we understand that like a lot of that movie is going to take place on Earth. They're going to be putting a lot of ties into other upcoming movies. I think that's going to be the one where they really step on the gas and start laying some track towards the rest of Phase 4 and Phase 5. Personally, I think Christian Bale as Norman Osborn, this is unconfirmed, but I think that Christian Bale as Norman Osborn is a bit of inspired casting. I can't wait to see if he's the Green Goblin. Also, the big thing about Spider-Man Homecoming, remember how the Stark Tower was up for sale and they were moving out? Yeah. So then the talk is, okay, well, who's buying the building? And apparently a lot of people just think that it's going to be the Baxter Building. That's going to be the Fantastic Four that takes it over. Yeah. I could see that. That seems likely. But I always hoped it was Norman Osborn. That's who they announced like buys that building, and that's how they bring the Green Goblin in, is that he buys that building, and then they take a little bit of the plot of maybe something similar to the Spider-Man video game where Norman Osborn, even if he's not the mayor, that he's some kind of like public figure in New York City who's a billionaire, he buys that building. And oh man, that would be exciting.
It's funny you say that actually, because in Far From Home Spider-Man, when you swing through like the city and whatever, you can see one of the scenes where they're tearing down.
Yeah, that building's under construction. Yeah.
And a lot of people thought like what you're saying, oh, wait, that could be like an Oscorp back there.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want that to be the Oscorp building. If it's the Baxter Building, then that'll be cool too. And I have faith that whatever they do is going to be awesome. But yeah. Okay, so Bake the Snake says, I don't think Bale will be the Goblin. He will be the villain for the Cosmic. I could see that. But at the same time, like, wouldn't that be more applicable to Eternals? Because Thor: Love and Thunder, I think, is a lot more of a grounded Thor movie. It's like more of an earthbound Thor movie. But hey, what do I know? Rumor has it, okay, this is Bake the Snake again, says, yeah, rumor has it there was a whole Sinister Six cameo that was supposed to be at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Well, that would have been awesome. You don't think that's true?
No, it's not.
It's been debunked by Trey in the background here.
It was debunked. Because I saw that kind of like theory before and I did research on it. No, there was talk about it like in the editing room, but like it just didn't get pushed through.
Oh wow! All right, well check this out. We got Vril Black Sun saying this is my first live stream and it's on my favorite channel on YouTube. I'll take that. That's gonna give me some juice. That's gonna give me energy all day now. Thank you for that compliment. I love it. Okay. So then the other little pop culture topic that I want to touch on is that we've all heard that the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show has been indefinitely postponed. Okay, so they hired everybody to make the show. They had the crew. They had the scripts. It got the green light. They were about to go into production. And then, boom, they announced that it's all been indefinitely postponed. And the rumor is that the reason why is that it took them... If this is true, it's insane. The rumor is that it took them this long to go, wait a minute. If we're writing a show that's about Obi-Wan taking care of a little baby Luke Skywalker, that's too similar to the plot of The Mandalorian, so we gotta put the brakes and retool the whole thing. If that ends up being true, then whoever the leadership is that is in charge of greenlighting these shows, because here's the thing, they're supposed to have this thing called the Star Wars Story Conference, right? So they've hired all of these people to basically sit in a room and being the bosses of the overarching Star Wars story, right? These people are supposed to be the people. Their whole job, what they're getting paid to do, is to keep track of how all of these projects fit together. And with all of this money being poured into this room full of people, for all of the talk about how smart and how diverse and how awesome these people are, if that rumor is true, that it got this far before somebody clued in and went, wait a minute, these shows might be a little too similar. Oh my God. That's millions and millions of dollars that got spent and wasted. Well, thankfully, if that's true, then they should thank the lucky stars they didn't make the show and wait for the fan base to point that out. But you know what? At the end of the day, it just means the show is going to be even more awesome. I can't wait to see an Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney+. The Mandalorian on Disney+ was breathtaking, spectacular. I loved it. All killer, no filler from me. I thought it was fantastic. And I think that Disney Plus shows might even be a better way to get into the heart of what makes Star Wars and build on that mythology even than the movies. Because the movies, there's the pressure to be all these different things to all these different people. But with the Disney Plus shows, they can open it up. They can explore these other corners of that universe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just going to take some time for Star Wars to, what? What are you laughing at?
One of the group says, the story group is a bunch of shit dummies that don't care about Star Wars.
You said it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Jerry Blue said it. I didn't say it. But suffice it to say that due to a lot of different circumstances, it seems like there's going to be a big shakeup in management at Lucasfilm once this current era of Star Wars is over. Now, that's all of the pop culture movie-related news that we're going to cover. I got a couple of other things we're going to talk about. We're going to get to that in a second. But before we do, I just wanted to tell you that if you've got any input on any of the topics we've discussed so far, I want to know about it. So we've got the live chat going here on the live stream. And if you're catching this on a replay or as a podcast later, hit me up on the social media. The Sean Ward Show has the show account on Instagram. I'm Sean Ward on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. And I absolutely want to know what you think about all this stuff. Tyrone Owens says, you're funny when you play the Joker. Well, I should hope so. I actually ordered, here's some news for you guys even behind the scenes. I ordered a wig. So instead of spraying my hair every time, I can have the same perfect, my style can be perfect every single time. I got a wig, not even a green wig. I've got a real wig that I can spray green and use that for the Joker. So we'll see how that works out. We'll try it for a video or two. Okay, so one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about right now is on my Facebook a little while ago, I saw a few people sharing a link to a story that was titled, How Do I Get a Cosplay Girl to Date Me? And there was a lot of debate on this topic around the author's take. You could check this out on mensvariety.com/cosplay-girl. And the guy's advice is basically, if I give him the benefit of the doubt, and I am as generous as I can be with this guy, then I would say that what he's offering is just generally applicable advice about like meeting people and getting to know people and like trying to be an interesting person who can have a relationship, right? Raising your stock and becoming an interesting person. But it's here's the thing. A lot of these guys are in too much of a rush to like impress people right off the bat, right? You see a girl and it's right there in that moment. How can I get a date? How can I get a number? How can I this? How can I that? It's a slow play thing, dude. You got to understand that these people whose attention you're trying to get, you're in competition with a lot of people trying to get their attention, especially when you're at the Comic-Con and these ladies are in costumes and they're looking good and everybody's surrounding them. They can't go 3 steps without somebody wanting to take their picture, right? How do you compete with that? You know what I mean? How do you stand out from a crowd? How do you get their attention? Stop trying to get a date with them right then and there. That's step 1. Okay? What you got to do is you got to take an interest in people. Don't try to date a cosplay girl. Just be an interesting person. What? Oh, Miles Morales was trying to get Gwen. Yeah, so the whole thing about the move on the shoulder, don't worry about that. That's not the way. Here's the thing. It's all about being an interesting person. So forget about the whole issue of trying to date a cosplay girl because the issue is universal, okay? It's about being an interesting person. And how you be an interesting person, this now ties into the stuff we were talking about last week about how to like do what you want to do as an artist or as a creative person, running your own business, being a successful artist, okay? The object of the game for you is that you want to be busy. If you're the one who's constantly saying, hey, want to go out sometime, hey, want to go out sometime, hey, want to go out sometime, and making it, I've made these mistakes myself in the past, okay? If you're the one who's constantly, want to go out sometime, want to go out sometime, hey, my schedule is available, I can do it anytime, blah, 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 that's not interesting. See, some guys, when they're acting like that, they think that they're flattering the girl. I think you're so awesome that I will drop anything to be available for you, without realizing that what you're really advertising is that you're going to be clingy and needy and reading into things and making everything all about you. Get out of that mindset. Be the guy who ain't got time to go out. When they're asking you, hey, want to go out sometime? Be the person who's like, hey, I'm not sure. I got a lot on the go. I'm working. I'm not sure. I'm doing a lot of things. I got this going on. I got that going on. I'm doing a show. I'm painting a painting. I'm taking pictures. Got a photo shoot. Got a recording session. Or even just that you're just staying home to put work into yourself. You're writing. You're coming up with new ideas. You're planning your next move. Put all the work into being an interesting person, and the rest will take care of itself. Maybe you'll end up with a cosplay girl. Maybe you'll end up with some girl who's not into cosplay, but is still awesome. Lots of awesome people out there into all different stuff. But oh my God, that cosplay girl article on my Facebook, people were going bonkers over that. Shadowstorm is in the chat saying, I've tried being myself. I've tried not being myself. I've tried looking and not looking. Nothing has worked. Well, here's the thing. We're talking about a guy trying to get a cosplay girl. You're a cosplay girl talking about how to get a guy. That's a whole other thing, and I would have to talk about that on a whole other live stream. But right now, we're just talking about these guys that, see those hot cosplay girls and like, I want one of them as my girlfriend. But here's the thing too, is that when you're being that guy, you're not seeing her as a real person. You're just holding her up like as an icon. And you don't really want her. You want what she represents. You want how you think that's going to reflect on you. You think that it's going to make you cool to just have a girl that looks like that on your arm. You're not really interested in her as a person. And dudes, she's going to spot it a mile away. And if she doesn't spot it a mile away, then you're going to be how she learns to spot it a mile away. Don't be that guy. Put the work into yourself, become an interesting person, and watch how many awesome people you're surrounded by. All right? Yeah, hashtag dating advice. That's right. Padria Boggs wants to know, when are you going to upload another video? This weekend. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that you did not join the live stream from the beginning, because that's where we mentioned that what we got coming up this weekend is the Mandalorian epic parody. We put a lot of work into this, not even just to like make sure that the writing is good and the writing is funny, but we've got some people behind the scenes. Hey, you two back there, say a really big loud hi.
Hi. Why?
Okay, so you hear those voices? Those are the voices of some people that have joined the show behind the scenes and are helping us take everything we do to the next level. Because so much, I'm going to give you some inside scoop here, okay, some insider info. This channel had its first viral video in 2012, and that was just me with a camcorder running around in the streets, and the first videos that we made that were successful for the first few years were all just running around the streets. No color correction, no production, just borrow a camcorder, shoot it in the street, edit it on a computer, upload it, right? Then as we've transitioned into this business of doing like parodies and scripted comedies and whatnot, giving it some production value, we've had to just learn on the fly. But a lot of the people who were coming through here, I mean, this sort of ties into what I was saying before about the people who were on this show and aren't anymore. Part of the reason for that is because they weren't coming into it as like comedic actors. They're cosplayers who I saw at Fan Expo or Comic-Con. It's like, hey, you got a great costume, want to come be in a video? And I'm confident enough in my directing that I can like coax a performance out of somebody when they're not really an actor. But everything's been raising. The game has been raising so high, and things have been getting so good that like now we're at a level where we're actually bringing in, so we've got this whole period of transition happening right now, and we're bringing in these new people who don't come from the background of being a cosplayer and, hey, you got a great costume, why don't you come and be in a video? Now we're actually bringing in like actors, trained actors, people with real credits, all this kind of stuff, and it is super exciting. So the whole thing is transitioning, and it's going to be terrific. Dobrila, you keep asking how old are you? I keep telling you, I'm timeless. I've always been here. I'm always going to be here. I've been here since before the earth started spinning. That first sunrise at the dawn of man, I was there to see it. At the end of the universe, when the supernova takes out the entire multiverse, I'll be standing there watching it happen.
I'm 62.
That's right, I'm 62 years old. I'm 3 years away from retirement, okay? Here's the thing. I know I don't look my age. So when I go to the movies and I ask for the seniors discount, and they don't want to give it to me, the only recourse I have is to yell at them and throw a fit and to make such a big scene that the manager has to come and say, just give it to him, for crying out loud. Or when I go to the restaurant, right? People see me coming. And I'm trying to enjoy the seniors special at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like a 62-year-old guy would do, right? But then they're saying to me, hey, you're too handsome you look too young and good and spry for the seniors special. I said, get off my back, I just want my 4 p.m. pancakes. Here's a little story I'll tell you. This is actually some true life story for you. The very last time that I got away with paying for a children's admission for myself at the movies, okay? The cutoff is age 13. And I was 14, maybe even 15. And I went, I asked for the children's ticket to the movie. And the clerk says, she looks at me incredulously and says, how old are you? I'm 13. She rolls her eyes like, whatever, and gave me the ticket anyway. And that was the point at which I thought, you know what, maybe I'm actually getting too old to get away with getting the kids' ticket. Tashi and friends, you don't look that old. Well, thank you for the compliment. On my next birthday, this coming November, I'm going to be 63 years young. And then after that, I'm going to be 64. 8 times 8 is 64, okay? So that means the square root of 64 is 8. Flip an 8 on its side, what do you get? An infinity loop. And what did I say at the beginning? I'm timeless. I'm infinite. I was there at the dawn of man, and I'll be there when the universe goes supernova. Okay? 8 on its side, infinity loop. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
That was a Michael Jordan stretch.
That's right. Come for the geek movie news and gossip discussion. Stay for the esoteric, mind-melding. We're starting to lose our minds, y'all. But we have a lot of fun here. Okay, so Shadowstorm asked, when are we going to get the Guardians back together, work on some new songs? Well, funny you should ask. I guess I'll just tell you, as I tell everybody else here, that Guardians, for those who don't know, is the band that is the Guardians of the Galaxy, okay? The characters from the movie come down to Earth and perform, have a concert, and perform the pop songs from the movies, okay? We've done this show twice. Once was a Comic-Con after party, and the second one was when we did it for the Ubisoft, you know the video game company Ubisoft? They had Guardians come play at their Christmas party. That was a sizzling hot good time. It went on a third time, but that was when my baby was getting born and I couldn't be in it, so whatever. So the talk now is that we're going to bring Guardians back this year on Halloween, because Halloween is on a Saturday this year. So right now we're trying to book where we can perform, have Guardians of the Galaxy come back to perform it again, and also put in a few like Halloween favorites. You know what one I've always wanted to do at a Halloween party? That old retro one. I always feel like somebody's watching me. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that one live, so maybe we'll put it into our Halloween set. Okay, Freddie, you look too young. I thought you were like 32 or 29. No, dude, 62. 62. I'm just look young for my age. And I dye my hair. Yeah, this just should be like white. This should be white hair right here, but I dye it.
You missed a couple strands. I see some whites.
Yeah, well, I gotta keep them guessing. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep them guessing. That's just what my little baby's done to me. Oh yeah, Bake the Snake. That was some major reaching on that one, but yeah, that was great. Why does Sean have a green outline in this stream? Well, I'll tell you why, Beta. Because I'm high in the sky above Metropolis. And what happens is when you're high in the sky above Metropolis, sometimes the lights that are around do a funny thing to your head, as if this wasn't really Metropolis and it was a green screen back here, and that this was just a picture of Metropolis. I don't know why it does that, because we actually are up in the sky above a fictional city right now. But it just does that. It makes it look like it's a green screen. It makes it look like it's a green screen, and we haven't, done the work of figuring out exactly how to make it look perfect. I don't know why it does that. Do you?
It's the lighting a little bit. Probably.
Yeah, it's the lighting a little bit. Hey, what are you gonna do? But also just wanted to keep y'all guessing. Okay, and then just taking a little scan through the chat here. Can't wait for the Mandalorian video. This is Jerry Blue. Hashtag Sean Ward dating show according to Shadowstorm. You got it. Tashi and friends next week. You know what's up. And okay, a lot of great stuff. Okay, so one last topic I made a separate note about here. So let me just get into this. Okay, remember last time how we ended the show talking about all of that stuff about like getting going with your whatever it is you're trying to do in your career as a creative person, as an artist. Maybe you want to be a photographer, a filmmaker, a singer, a painter, a dancer, whatever. Anything that's like creative and requires you to carve out your own path as a creative person, to use your creativity and your art to try to make something happen and design a career for yourself. Last time, we talked a lot about getting that going. Well, earlier this week, I started ruminating on this topic, and I started thinking about how, like, one of my, for a long time, I thought it was a bad habit, is that it's very easy for me to get distracted from the thing I'm working on right now. It's easy for me to get distracted by all of the ideas that start rolling around for the next thing. And sometimes I want to jot those ideas down so I don't forget them, or sometimes my enthusiasm gets away from me. And so the thing that is supposed to be that I'm working on right now and it's coming out soon, maybe it doesn't get all of the attention that it should get to be the best that it can be, right? To be the number. But here's the thing. What happens is that you start going like that. And I think this is where a lot of people, they can start feeling down, because they can be like, oh, I don't ever finish what I start. Oh, all these things that I make, they're never really popping off. And I felt like that for a really long time, especially when it was, my comics, and or maybe I didn't send out as many invitations to the party as I should have. Even now, if I'm doing an after party for Comic-Con, it's like I'm doing so much work on the videos or this or that like I don't put the work that I should into promoting or inviting the right VIPs or blah, blah, blah. But then I realized that what happens when you're living that way is that the ideas are always tumbling forward, and each thing that you're working on tumbles into the next thing. So that along the way, you might be, oh, that thing that I made wasn't everything that I wanted it to be. But there's a certain amount of understanding that nothing's ever going to be everything you wanted it to be. Everything is going to take on a life of its own. That's all you can do, the best you can do to just like set it out into the world and see where it goes. But it's not until you've done a whole lot of stuff, okay, coming back to this idea from last week about being prolific, it's not until you've done a whole lot of stuff that you can actually look back at what you've done that's now a body of work, and you see how it all fits together, right? So a real big part of trying to carve out a career for yourself has to do with just doing a lot of stuff, so that even though along the way you might feel a little bit down that each thing wasn't, everything you wanted to be, or it wasn't the earth-stopping, earth-shattering thing that you hoped that it would be. But enough time goes by that you can just look at it, because when you're looking at it when it's brand new, you draw a picture and then you look at it, you go, oh, it's not the best picture anybody ever drew. But maybe you'll come back to it later on. You forgot you drew it. You look at it again and you say, you know what? It's not exactly what I was going for at the time, but on its own merits, it's actually awesome. As its own thing, it's awesome. So that's what you end up with, is a whole long string of these things that on their own merits are awesome in ways that you didn't plan for, right? So if you wanted it to be X, but instead it turned out to be Y, maybe Y is 3X, and it's 3 times as good, and you were blind to that fact at the time because you're too busy worrying that it wasn't like exactly what you were wanting it to be, and you didn't have the presence of mind to take yourself out of it and go, well, wait a minute, it's actually better, because you're going to find that'll happen a lot too. Another most important reason why it's important to be easy on yourself and to always have a lot of things on the go and be working on a lot of things at once is because even if it means that each individual little thing doesn't have the level of polish that you'd like, what it does mean is that it all rings with your truth. Whatever's that like your big message in life, whatever's like the true thing in your heart that you're trying to express, that's how you make sure that it's all full of that. Because I'd rather have a lot of things that are sort of have this rough and tumble quality, this kind of handmade, you know, made in the backyard or in the garage kind of quality, but ring with the truth, then I would like to have something that's like really polished and slick, but is hollow, and it doesn't really have much to it other than that it's polished and slick. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that topic for now. We've covered a lot of topics on this live stream, and we have just gone over the hour mark, so I think we're going to be bringing this one in for a landing. This has been episode 2 of the Sean Ward Show News. We will be back here again next week with another live stream sometime around noon-ish, Monday afternoon anyway. Watch out for it to go live on Monday afternoon. Be looking forward to your comments and your questions in the live chat as always. Don't forget to hit the big join button on the channel to be a member and get your questions answered first. And subscribe to the channel because we have the Mandalorian parody coming up. We got the Birds of Prey parody coming up. We got the Wonder Woman trailer parody coming up. The Spider-Man Peter versus Miles video is kicking ass. So we're going to do another one and bring Gwen into it. I haven't even talked to you about this awesome girl who we got coming in who's going to play Spider-Gwen and take on some other roles. Val behind the scenes knows who I'm talking about. She's got talents that like are going to blow your mind. We got people coming into this show from all these different walks of life.